Hello and welcome again to another episode of One Starfish, where our mission is to help change the world one starfish or one person at a time. As always, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, share, all the wonderful stuff. Excited to have a really good friend of mine, Chris, on with us today. So Chris is actually an Air Force veteran since 1999. He runs a supply chain and information technology at the Department of Defense. I said I'm Canadian, I'm learning this side of the American side. For your American friends, you got it. And then he runs a gym that he actually started in 2020. But one of the biggest things about Chris is he's all about impact. So he does a lot of other stuff. So we're going to delve into some of that. So let's go back to, I don't know where to go back to, but where did your life start to really evolve from maybe the military, if that's where it started to change, to like becoming a person of service and helping others? Like what were some catalysts that transformed you?
It's a great question. And, I've thought about that now where I'm at now and what were the major milestones? What were things that really shaped me? And when I went in the Air Force, I was a brand new second lieutenant, which is the lowest rank in the officer, right? And the Gulf War kicked off in 1990. And I got deployed over there. And I got deployed for 8 months. 8 months in a crucible. And I call it like the Live Hard program, but over there, right? I mean, so you're working these crazy hours. You really don't even know when you're working. We had 5 days of combat, so there's bullets flying by, and really to the point there was one time where a bullet hit cement and the cement hit me in the face, and that's actually when I really realized that God was like sort of protecting me, even when I was over there, and I wasn't really walking with God as much as what I am now, but that crucible of 8 months of just doing work, and just doing things that like build confidence in yourself, like Andy and Ed always talk about that, just doing the little things every single day. We had a gym under camouflage over there, and we actually would work out, and it was so cool because I was stationed not just with Air Force people, but Army people, people from England, people from Italy, people from France. It was a multinational force. I got to know a lot of people and stuff like that. But that was a major, major point because it gave me the grit and determination that set me up for now, and just to work my butt off from 20 to like probably 40. And now I still work my butt off, but it's a different kind of working, right? It's more like I'm like really not in my business. I'm about my business and their pursuits, right? Doing good in the military, setting that company up, hiring the right people, core values, all that kind of stuff that we always talk about, allows me to now not be in the business because I can trust everybody that works for me. And then I can go do these pursuits that I believe God is putting on my plate. I call them divine appointments or godly interruptions, divine interruptions during the day. Say, hey, go do this, go do that, Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are some things that are really, really important to you right now? What are some of these divine interruptions, I guess, that you're, chasing and helping with?
Yeah. So I work for a poverty initiative called Thrive Together through my church. And I've been on their leadership board for the last 2 years. So we take people that are in low income or in poverty, not in crisis, and we screen them and we determine whether they want to be part of our organization. And their organization is to give them a hand up versus a hand out. And we give them skills, right? We learn tactical skills, strategic skills, stuff like, just how to get grants for education, how to do resumes, how to interview, mindset. I do classes on mindset, stuff that, you read your books, and then I try to take that and teach those classes to them. I was just in charge for the summer programming of physical fitness and physical health, right? So I brought in a chiropractor, talked about chiropractor. I gave a class on intermittent fasting. I brought one of the ladies I met through Arte, I believe, or she's in one of the groups, and she does jump roping. I can't remember, her name is Michaela Silvestri or whatever. She's a jump rope. She did a jump roping class for us. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
She brought jump ropes for everybody. So that I was in that. So I coached there. I coached about 14 people in that poverty ministry. And then also I realized that their housing is just horrible where they live in these government funded Section 8 houses where people really don't care about it. So just this past year, I'm actually starting to buy multifamily houses and taking the people I coach and put them in those houses. So that just started. What did I get? My first one by 2 months ago. And I was just, and it's all because of, all the relations we have, like you, Angela, and just a network of our group of Arte members and just being able to have access to people that you can talk to, get inspired by, and just rub ideas off of, So I do that. So that's one of my main things, because these people I coach require a lot of time from me sometimes. They'll call me up. And as a matter of fact, it's whenever I see them on my phone, I pray before I answer the phone, because it could be like an hour or two phone conversation, right? So that's my godly interruption. Whereas before I used to be not so happy about these interruptions. I wanted to do these other things.
Right.
So it may wind up like they're like, hey, I need a ride, because they don't have cars, because they rely on public transportation. And for them to go shopping, it takes them like 4 or 5 hours, because they got to rely on public transportation. And they live in food deserts where there really aren't shopping centers around them. So every time I get a phone call, I'm like, okay, God, help me out. Help me be patient with these people. Help me do what, if I had the time, I say, oh God, I said, if I have the time or resources, help them right now, I'm going to go do it. So.
That's so good, man. I got to learn a lot from you. Like not quite there yet. We're working on that. So what are some strategies? Like, when did you get into personal development? Reading, has that always been a part of your life? And, all of that, or is there, like, obviously you said like when you're deployed, that was kind of where there was some switches, but did you get into personal development right away? Where did that journey kind of start?
I would say the personal development that I had in the military is always training you, sending you to leadership school, that kind of stuff. But they never take it to like, hey, you need to read books or stuff like that. But of course, when you're going to get your master's degree and they're sending you the master's, you're reading books and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I never really had the full picture of personal development until probably about 5 years ago. I went through a really bad divorce, and really my humbling of myself in that process and rededicating my life to Jesus and walking with him. I believe that Holy Spirit has been actually my coach, that has actually been said, hey, I'm going to give you this, and I need you to be open to this, right? Open to these things that you thought you didn't need to know, but you do need to know, and go keep an open mind of growth, because I'm going to keep working that creation I want to work in you to move you a little bit closer to Jesus. People ask me, what's your fire? What's your passion? And really my vision for myself is to move one step closer to Jesus each day. That's it. That's all I want to do every single day. And so that's where I think that whole thing started from. Like, I believe Ed Milet, Andy were sent to me by God. I believe you were sent to me by God. I believe that every single person I see God brings them to me for a reason, right? And a season and stuff like that. And I have to figure that out. And I pray for God to help me that out, and some of it may be bad lessons or things like that, and I try to bump everything back to the Bible. I try to look at the Bible, is this biblical or that kind of stuff. So I really try to have that as my truth.
Yeah. And I think that's really important. And anyone that's listening, maybe you don't believe in God or Jesus, and, but whatever you believe in, just like stepping closer to it. Dr. Joe always told the source. I, of course, believe in God and Jesus, but, just stepping into, your beliefs and your, and getting closer to whatever that is. And I do believe, check that out, get into that stuff. But so 5 years ago, you started into this journey. Now, when you started this journey, and you're going through divorce and going through all that kind of stuff, did you find, because something I always love to ask about is associations, did you find your associations started to change at that point? And were there people because people are always like, I don't want to cut people out of my life. And I never found I had to cut anybody out. Some people just fell away kind of concept. But how was it for you? Is there a lot of people that said, man, I don't know what you're doing, you're changing, like this, as kind of a negative thing? Did you go through some of that?
Yeah, definitely. Going through that divorce process, people align themselves to either me or my ex-wife, so I lost people that way, Mm-hmm. And as you change, like you said, they just fall away. I'm not intentionally doing that, but they just fall away. Like it's funny, because some of the guys I was best friends with through college and stuff like that, they call me Pastor Chris now, right? and they monitor their language, but they've stepped away from me because they know that I really don't want to be doing the actions that I used to be doing with those guys. I used to go drink a lot of alcohol, right? I don't do that anymore. That's not serving to me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They still like to do that, so they just sort of separate themselves. I think it happens naturally there, but now I know for myself that I'm knowing that God's bringing people to me, and I'm like, okay, how can I constantly edit and audit that circle? Who do I need to bring closer to me, and who do I need to maybe distance a little bit? Never cutting people out, I don't think, but just distance them. Don't have them closer
Mm-hmm.
in your sphere of influence,
And in saying that, like, as you went through this, and I'm not even sure where this was at, but obviously you're an art team, go to the events and all this kind of stuff. So investing in yourself, were you investing in yourself before you could afford to invest into yourself?
So investing in myself before was more through the military, right? Like you just have these things that you do, I was very blessed that, after going to the Gulf War created a area where I could perform and do well and separate myself from other people. Therefore, I got a really good assignment in another hot spot, which is in South Korea. And the unit I was assigned to had failed all their inspections before that. And I was able to excel and do really well on the inspections when they came back around. And the Air Force paid for my master's degree. So I was blessed that through that performance, they say, okay, we're going to award you, go get your master's degree. And then they keep pouring into you, but I'm not really paying any money to get coaching or to get these resources sent to me. And the only thing I would say that I did spend money is in the physical fitness side. I've always had a thirst for that. So I spent money to get availability to coaches, right? I have a coach down that's been coaching me since 1996 and about 30 minutes away, a physical fitness coach. He's probably now in his 70s now. He's been coaching me, teaching me everything, certified me, all that kind of stuff. I've actually gone down there and made protein for him. He makes protein, the supplements. I've actually made it for him. He taught me all that stuff.
Oh, cool.
So I've dived into that kind of stuff, but not the full picture like this, And I wish I would have way earlier. That's a regret I have. I'm like, why did I not see this opportunity and just start paying for this coaching when I was in the military? Why didn't I do both? Why didn't I do both? So yeah.
Because what would you like? You do a lot of coaching and stuff. So, if someone's listening and they're a new, want to be a new entrepreneur, they're a new entrepreneur, and they're like, well, I love all this concept and personal development and going to these events and like all the stuff that, I'm blessed, you're blessed that we get to do. And I think they're very powerful, but they're like, you know what? Can't afford it. Right now, maybe in the future, I'll be able to afford it. What are some thoughts that you have on kind of that mindset?
I think you really have to get your mindset away from the cost and look at what it's going to bring to you. And I'll go to health, right? There's so many people that want to become a healthier person. Become a healthier person. Yes, you can do things that don't cost a lot, but there is going to be a cost to becoming more healthier. And if I was to tell you, hey, you can invest $10,000 right now and you're going to have the best health you're ever going to have, a lot of people would take that deal, right? So I just look at your health and just say, that's the same with everything. Like for you to do well in relationships, for you to do well in your business, for you to be, whether you're being an entrepreneur actually in a company, that is something that you need to look at. Don't look at the price tag. Look at what the benefits are going to bring to you. And then, going back to your associations, it's those associations that you have with other people that therefore can really show you, especially if you seek someone that's at a higher level to you and find out that they're getting coaching, this kind of stuff and how their life is. I always, I'm not going to coach people that I'm not capable of coaching. Like the people in poverty, I'm capable of coaching, but people in Arte, I might be able to coach maybe some people in Arte on maybe faith or fitness, but those
definitely fitness, sign me up.
Those are my go-to, right? Those are my things. I've been doing fitness for 99. That's just my natural thirst. I'm always researching it. I'm always learning things, always, that's it, and I have coached a lot of people in Arte, which is really cool. They just, hey, Chris, I need help. So it's really cool. So yeah, I would just say that don't think of the costs in anything. And it's real hard to do that, especially when you don't have the money or the resources. You think, wow, these limited resources, I have to really apply them here. But coaching is a multiplier, right? So if you invest a little bit, it's going to bring you back way more than a one-on-one, 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. It's probably bringing you like probably 10, 15 times.
Yeah. Well, and that's what, like, I've heard someone say, like, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, why would anyone else invest in you? And I think that that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
In our business, obviously we move money. So I'm like, how would someone move $1 million if you're not going to invest $100 into yourself?
Right. Yeah, that's very powerful. That's a very good statement. And one other thing, I would say is, I just totally lost my train of thought. Yeah, maybe we'll come back
It'll come back. Sorry. That's awesome. So what are some, when you're talking to people now, you got into you started your own gym in 2020 and during COVID. Tell us a little bit about it. I know you were talking about it one day. Tell us a little bit about your gym and why did you decide to start it in 2020 in a lockdown situation?
Yeah. So this is what happened. The guy who's been coaching me since 1996, John Parrillo, he has a big facility. And he makes supplements and he has a gym, an amazing gym. And he's a very engineer type oriented guy. He creates his own equipment and stuff. So there's very unique equipment in there. And he's just getting old, right? And in his gym, he only lets people use that gym. It's not open to the public. Only lets people who he's coaching use that gym. Well, he's getting old. And so it's just like, God provides, right? The opportunity. So this is all God, what I'm about to tell you, right? He knows I have my own company, a supply chain company. He knows I have a lot of flexibility. During COVID, he goes, Chris, you want to come down and make masks? I'm like, sure, I'll come down and make masks, right? All the gyms are shutting down around here. Right. I know that when I go down and make masks, I can go work out every day also, right? So it's a little bit about me right in there, right?
Yeah,
so we
that's
go
right. Yeah.
I go start making, and I don't even know how to sell. I don't know how to do anything, but his wife is a master seamstress. So she starts teaching and they made athletic gear. So they had all the sewing machines, they had all the materials to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So she started teaching me. I met this doctor who was a musculoskeletal doctor, right? He had a little office down in that building, and his wife, she came over. Their aesthetics practice got closed down, so she started making masks. I started knowing the doctor, the wife, other people there. We started making masks, and we start getting orders. This fire department wants 300. So we start making all these things, and we're doing it for a long period of time. Over that time, we're starting to talk about our faith, talk about our core values, all that kind of stuff. John, at the same time, is talking to me, who owns the facility. John's like, Chris, I want you to take over my gym. I want you to run my gym. That's my exit. I'm going to move to Florida. I want you to open it up for everybody. Wow. So I'm like, all right, that sounds good. I think I'm going to do that, right? But let's see what provides. Yeah. So as COVID goes on, the government comes and tells our company, IB Logistics, you guys are never going to come back to the Air Force Base. You are going to telework the rest of your lives because you guys are kicking butt during COVID, better than you've ever done, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So that was a sign to me that I can go full bore into the gym. So then the doctor, I said, hey, why don't we do a partnership? You have your musculoskeletal, operation going, and his wife wanted to do aesthetics. So we built out some pods to do aesthetics. So we have a doctor, aesthetics practice, and then the personal training gym, all in one facility. Right. And that's how it went down. It really went down because of the people.
Just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. It happened because you went and made a bunch of masks.
yeah, it really did. Yeah. If I did not make that mask, it would have not happened.
Yeah, because you were okay with doing some, I don't know, menial work, I guess, in a weird way, to help out. And I think that's like, when the opportunity knocks, normally it's too late if you're not like prepared for it. So that's a good thing. Like people are always like, well, I'm looking for that big, that next big break, that next big thing. And it's like, well, you just never know if you just follow what you're led to do, where that next big break is, next big break is going to actually come from. You just like, you wouldn't have seen that one coming, I'm sure. And so, cool. Yep. And then being able to take it and not let fear hold you back. So what are some tips, speaking of fear and motivation, what are some things that get you out of bed in the morning? What are some tips? Like, that's another thing I hear a lot of people, especially in the last couple of years has been, anxiety, mental health, all of that stuff has been through the roof. What are some things? I mean, obviously you're a Christian, so that's part of it. But outside of that, what are some tips that, you use that have helped you, maybe when you are struggling, when you're going through the divorce, when you're going through, mental challenges, stuff from in the military, whatever, what are some things, tangible tips that could help someone that's maybe struggling?
So for me, I've been able to look at my life and figure out what things are really cup filling to me, and everybody's different, right? So for me, listening to some of my favorite Christian bands gives me tons of energy, right? So when I wake up in the morning, I have a playlist that I play every single morning. As a matter of fact, my alarm clock is that playlist. If I don't wake up before my alarm, that playlist goes off and it just sets me in an amazing just energy creating mood, right? And dopamine hits and all that stuff. Yeah. So that's one thing. And throughout the day, that I can listen to music, but also I go back to when I was a kid. I loved to dance when I was a kid. So I dance in my little place right here, in my condo. When I'm feeling down or feeling low energy or not feeling good, I will put the music on and I'll start dancing around.
Okay.
You know? So it's a little bit crazy, but so I think it's like cool. Like you figure out, obviously, physical fitness, right? Obviously, going to the gym is my thing. I'm there 2 days every single day. It's very easy for me to do. That generates a lot of energy. Gets me, just the way I work out. There's some workouts that are just really, I push the envelope, and it creates excitement for me that I'm pushing the envelope in my training. So physical fitness is something, but I think everybody has to figure out what those energy generators are for them. What are those things?
Mm-hmm.
Go back to your childhood. What things made you really happy as a child? We tend to lose that childhood experiences. The world beats us down and we forget about those things. So figure out what's in your life that puts you in that good mood, and then go to those things. I'll write them down so I don't forget them until they become natural, because a lot of these things aren't natural anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sort of be really intentional about however you're going to do. For me, I like to put 3x5 cards around. I put them like on my bathroom mirror, on my refrigerator, on my computers. They just tell me what I want to do for that period of time.
That's awesome. And what are some things that have helped you conquer fear?
So conquer fear is just, for me, doing those promises you keep, the promises you make to yourself, and keep doing them, and just keep doing them over and over and over and over again. It builds the confidence of just doing something that you're not really too sure of. And then just being in that mind of growth and being around people that are higher than you, same as you, just the same mindset. Even everybody has value, even the people that maybe they don't consider themselves as high as you or whatever, that really is inspirational. I remember listening to Jesse Itzler at that Arte Live in 2019. And he says, get yourself at a seat at the table. That one verb, that one phrase, helped me so much, because I was wanting to go in and propose this big contract to someone. I was a little bit scared. But when Jesse said that, and then I used Andy's power list, I put it on the power list and I had to go do it.
Right.
So those type things, just, I think you have to, I don't know if they all work for everybody, but for me, that power list is very important. I don't want to see an L, and then you hear people say certain phrases and it just resonate with you. Not that the same phrase is going to resonate with people, everybody, but for me, get a seat at the table is just huge for me.
That's so good. And in kind of wrapping up, I always have 3 final questions that I always ask. And then, anything that you feel, to wrap up with, anything that you feel we didn't touch on that would just help people, if they ran into in a coffee shop and were like, hey, Chris, what did Angela not ask you that she should have asked you? That would just be really helpful to help people with mindset or with personal development or with whatever really speaks to your heart. We'll wrap up with that. But the 3 final questions. Number 1 is someone's looking for their purpose. Everyone always wants their purpose and where they're going and that kind of thing. What's one sentence that you would say that would help them?
I would say, really become aware of yourself and where your passions are, right? And truly analyze that. Because a lot of people think their passion is someplace, but it really isn't. It's someplace else. I take myself, for example, I went through the Air Force. I love doing the supply chain. I love doing veterans, right? I have passion for that. But my passion for fitness is way, way, way higher, right? So that is just so I'll use those 2 examples for myself. Mm-hmm. Fitness, just nonstop for me, right? The Air Force is just, I like it. I do it, but it's not on the same caliber.
Cool. Find your real passion. Number 2 question. I'm sure there's lots, but right now what comes to mind, what's your favorite quote and why?
Favorite quote. This comes from the Bible, right? Love is patient. Love is kind. Does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. Does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. Not easily angered. Keeps no record of wrongs. Love always protects. Love always trusts. Love always hopes. Love always perseveres. Love never fails. That's my favorite quote. I live by that. I say that quote every single day, probably multiple times a day, because that's really what I want to do.
That's awesome. I love that. And a third and final question is, what's one word or sentence you want on your gravestone?
Man of God.
That's awesome. All right. So final thing, is there something that, we didn't touch on that you just think, man, this is something the listeners really need to sink in or think about before we completely wrap up?
I do believe that hope is such a powerful thing, and that we have to realize we don't know when that breakthrough is coming. God does. So if you just keep doing what you're doing, there could be a breakthrough like the very next second, right? Like 1 second from now, something could happen. And I find that so exciting, right? I have a strained relationship with my son, but I live in hope that any day that relationship is going to get better. And it has gotten a lot better, but I'm thinking it's going to be amazing one day, right? I remember I haven't seen him for over 3 years. And also one day I saw him, right? And I was like, wow, I saw him and I talked to him for an hour, and it was just an awesome conversation, right? But I just think that everybody, could just live in hope, that knowing that at any moment, your life can totally change.
That's so cool. I love that. Very cool. Guys, make sure to follow Chris on ask him any questions you have. We'll make sure to put links in the show notes and all of that kind of good stuff. As always, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, share. Let's get the word out. If we can change one life or one starfish at a time, we can change the world. So thanks so much, Chris, for being on.
All right, cool.